I don't think I talk about dedicated cameras enough here on the channel. I actually think that some of you guys might not know that I'm actually a full-time professional photographer and videographer. One of my friends, JP, runs an amazing street photography YouTube channel, and on that channel he talks a lot about the X100V, just like all of photography YouTube actually. It is by far and away the most popular camera of 2022. They're still selling like gold dust, and resale values are far inflated over the kind of normal retail price. But this video isn't about the X100V. Let's rewind back in time 8 years and let me introduce you to the Fujifilm X100T. So yeah, this is the X100T. It's one of the previous iteration versions of the X100 series from Fujifilm. And right now you can pick up one of these bad boys for about $500 in terms of pricing. And that is quite literally a third of what some people are charging for a used X100Vs. But obviously $500 for a camera that is 8 years old might still sound a little bit crazy, but I want to justify why you might not want to sleep on it just yet. So briefly, I want to kind of talk about the intangible benefit that shooting on an X100 series actually has. The X100 series has become famous for its 23mm lens, paired with its crop factor resulting in a 35mm equivalent. And as a fixed focal length lens, this means you're basically getting the experience of shooting fixed focal length 35mm. It's an experience that is probably the closest you can get to shooting with a film camera on a digital system. This is why so many photographers enjoy shooting on the X100 series. It's a very liberating and sort of freeing experience as a photographer. You're not having to worry about additional lenses, you're not worried about additional setups, you're just going out, you're shooting with a 35mm fixed, and it's allowing you to focus entirely on the shot and entirely on the experience of taking those photos. You guys know that I enjoy shooting with a lot of smartphones here on the channel, and why I actually enjoy doing that is I just have that camera in my pocket. I don't really have to think too much about bringing additional gear, additional requirements with me. I can just pick that camera up and snap away, and obviously as smartphones are getting better and better, that's quite a liberating experience. This is exactly the same thing, but obviously with a more powerful sensor and a more powerful camera. JP has done a dedicated video on the X100V after he's taken almost 100,000 shots with this camera. And something that he mentions a real benefit, that one of the things he enjoys most about the camera is its pickup ability, which is the idea that obviously just having the camera on you at all times, being able to rely on it to be there to take a very quick shot, is one of the main things he loves about the camera, being able to throw it into kind of quite random situations. I think actually there are a lot of parallels to shooting almost like with a smartphone, because we're very used to having a smartphone in our pocket. A smartphone has fantastic pickup ability, and likewise the Fuji X100 series is kind of the gold standard of that. And for me, that's actually the standout reason why I picked the X100T over the X100V. If money is no object, obviously you're going to want to probably go for the camera with the newest sensor, the camera with a few more actual technical advancements. But time and time again, when you watch photographers' analysis of the X100V, it is rarely those technological improvements as an advantage over the other generations of cameras. You could probably give the X100T to any of these photographers and they'd actually be having a very, very similar experience whilst getting a lot of the same benefits of using the system in general. I was able to pick up this camera for under £500 here in the UK, which the X100V is literally over double that. And when this was never going to be a main camera for me, this is the one that just definitely made sense. Fuji's film emulations are one of the biggest advantages about shooting with the Fujifilm system, and the X100T is no different. It comes with a whole host of film emulations. My absolute favorite is the classic chrome that I just kind of tend to use almost every time. I think some of the other film emulations can be a little bit aggressive for my taste. I just absolutely love the colors coming straight out of the classic chrome color science. It is just an absolutely beautiful look. I actually end up shooting JPEGs with the camera a ton. I just sit it on classic chrome and I'm able to just kind of shoot with it. Maybe I'm taking it on like a trip or maybe to a wedding. I'm able to shoot JPEGs, not have to worry about the colors at all, and I don't even edit the photos afterwards. It's much closer to a normal experience in terms of like a point and shoot camera or a phone. And with the X100T, it also has Wi-Fi capabilities, so you are able to send photos directly to your phone, directly from the camera. In addition to the pickup ability of this camera, and this is kind of the main advantage for me over actually shooting with something like a smartphone to a camera like this, is just how like tangible and tactile it is. You've got physical dials for almost all of your controls. I actually don't end up touching a lot of these controls. A lot of the time I tend to leave my shutter speed on auto, I'll leave my exposure compensation on 0, and I'll just allow my aperture to kind of be around like f2.8, but it is an extremely fun experience to be able to shoot with a camera like this. My overarching point, to be honest, is that for the vast majority of people, the other cameras in the X100 line do a lot of what people are asking for. When people are looking to buy the X100V, it's actually very rare that they're going just for the sensor or just for the specific color science of that camera, which means that sometimes you might want to consider the other potential options. But obviously this camera isn't perfect, and of course there were dramatic improvements at first in the X100F, which is the model down from the X100V, and then of course the X100V in the first place. You're obviously not getting exactly the same camera for the price. The biggest things that stuck out to me in terms of performance differences, the autofocus on this camera is not great, and obviously using more modern systems, I use Sony A7 series for all of my professional photo and video work. The autofocus is absolutely incredible, and it's pretty damn slow on this thing. It misses focus quite a lot. It is just not that reliable. However, for the vast majority of stuff that I shoot on this particular camera, it's absolutely fine that it does take a little while longer. Another pretty big drawback is that the battery life is kind of crap. Like, it will literally, like, if I'm out shooting and have the camera on a lot, it's going to die in less than 2 hours. And even if I was like kind of genuinely shooting like one after the other and after the other, I'd probably be closer to an hour in terms of battery life performance. I need at least 2 batteries with me for the day to actually be relaxed. But I do actually think it's worth the trade-off. Certainly a few batteries is significantly cheaper than like the $1,000 price difference.